Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel and to this interview series with expert. My name is Elena Muratova. I'm an Olympian life transition coach and wellness specialist. And today my guest is Joanna Armstrong. She is an author, 10 years certified EFT practitioner and mentor, and she also runs her private clinic in Stockholm, Sweden. Welcome, Joanna. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. I'm very well. Thank you.
Oh,
Today is a very
yeah.
snowy day in Stockholm. We don't have snow anymore in Stockholm, not so much anyway. But this year we have a lot of snow.
Oh, wow.
Yes, such a day.
It's amazing. I'm in Canada on Vancouver Island, so we do not have any snow, but we had a little bit of frost on the roofs and cars. Oh, I miss snow sometimes. I'm originally from Murmansk region in Russia, which is close to Sweden. So yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, nice to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah. What time is it right now in Sweden?
It's 17:20, so it's 5:20 p.m.
Okay, cool. Oh, I miss this way of saying about how much time is it?
24-hour clock.
24 o'clock. Yeah, I miss 24 o'clock sometimes.
You know if it's AM or PM by the number.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I didn't have anybody from Sweden, from Stockholm, on my YouTube channel, so it's great to have you here today. And I'm actually wondering, what is EFT practitioner?
Yes, EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. And it's actually plural, so emotional freedom, everyone wants that. And techniques in plural, because we do all kinds of things. We do the tapping. EFT is mostly known for the visual part of it, which is the tapping. We tap on some of the acupuncture points. Mm-hmm. But emotional freedom techniques is a method that includes many other methods, really. And I normally say that it's a method that has taken all the good raisins out of the best cakes. Mm-hmm. So it's not just the raisins from one good cake. It's a best from many cakes. Mm-hmm. So it's a method which is holistic, and because it affects the person and the issue on many different levels, it's very efficient. It's a very efficient method compared to other transformational methods. So I chose it because I'm impatient by nature, and I want good and quick results for my clients. I looked around, I saw, the options, and actually EFT found me.
Oh, yeah, I know that you left your very profitable career to start working with this EFT method. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I chose this oddball method because who wants to tap? Who wants to, poke themselves on the face and other parts of the body? But I was working as a commercial art director. So I was selling things, selling stuff. And as a young person, I really liked it. It was creative, it was fun, it was colorful, it was, kind of a bit fancy. But as I did it, I started feeling a personal calling that, why do I want to sell all these things, all this stuff? Do I want to contribute to a world of pushing products and things? And in that process, I decided eventually, obviously it wasn't a straight line, but eventually I started looking into different deeper ways, transformational ways, feeling better ways, improvements improvement techniques of feeling, doing, living. And really EFT found me. I found EFT online, people that were very reliable and had good credentials were doing this strange tapping thing. So I got curious, I learned it, became certified, and I actually have 2 certifications, one Swedish certification and one, let's see, where did I get it? Well, actually it's 2 Swedish ones, but it's like, there's a Swedish version, there's actually several versions of this by now, because it's such an effective method that many people have kind of like created their own little version. Oh, I loved it, but let me just tweak it a little bit. So they've added like a little element of this, a little element of that, which is kind of interesting because, as I said in the beginning, EFT is actually a method containing several methods already. Yeah, I felt a need to do something more valuable in life. And I transitioned over to doing and helping people in this way, which to me is a bit more meaningful than selling a TV or selling another car. Or so that's how that happened.
Yeah, so this inner calling and your curiosity brought you to this EFT techniques and methods. Wow, it's cool, wonderful. I'm wondering what other methods are there? Like you mentioned a few times that it's more like a combination of different best practices from other approaches.
Yeah, so the original ones would be NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. You actually change the patterns in your brain from thinking, oh, I can't do this, oh, this is hard, this is difficult, to, well, maybe let me try it. Maybe it's not so bad. Maybe, so there's some element of that. There's some element of visualization. Of course, the EFT, we tap on certain acupuncture points. There is acceptance therapy. There is eye movement desensitization. And those would be the core ones. And this method started 40, 50 years ago. So EFT started 40, 50 years ago, but another 10 years before that, so 50, 60 years ago, it was another form. It was a TFT, thought field therapy. And that was also a very good method, except it was very complicated. So if you were afraid of birds, you needed to tap and do a certain protocol. If you were worried about losing your job, you should tap in a different way, and it was a different protocol. So for every symptom, there was a specific way of doing things. And it was very efficient, but complicated. So Gary Craig came up with a simplified version. He called it EFT. And basically, you have the same protocol for all issues, whether you have a hard time sleeping, if you're worried about what you're going to do in your new life. I know that some of your clients are leaving something known and transitioning into something unknown. How do you handle that? Who am I in this new situation? What's my, what will the future bring? Can I handle something new? There's all kinds of issues that come up when you retire, no matter what age you're at. You have to discover yourself again, all over again. And although you have all the options in the world, that is not always a good thing. Too many options, too much to choose from. Oh, I only have half a life left. What should I choose? What's the best? So there's pressure. Like, you think it's a great thing, but it turns out that after something fulfilling, a career, I have nothing now. no one appreciates me anymore. I don't have those conversations at work I used to have. I don't get, the accolades I used to get. So it's not always a good thing, or easy thing, I should say. It is a good thing if you have issues with it, get help to handle it. But it's not so positive for everyone.
Yeah, it can be quite challenging transition, and sometimes people experience this, excitement in the beginning, but then they also face all these challenges, worries, uncertainty, and limitation, of course, because we all have limited time and energy in our life, so we need to choose wisely. And sometimes it's difficult to choose. Sometimes it's difficult to understand what we want to choose, because you're right, there are so many options around us right now. So do I understand correctly that this method actually can help with variety of different issues or problems? You mentioned sleeping problem, anxiety, something like, is it anything else? Like, can it help with anything?
Well, unfortunately, yes. And I have a clinic, as you mentioned, and I have big windows, but it's an old building, so the windows are thin, and I can hear people on the outside. So one time this woman came by, and I have some materials outside, and she was reading my little pamphlet, and she was talking to some child, because I could see that she was like looking down, and she started reading, and then she goes, "This is too good to be true." And this is the reality, I'm afraid, that because since all our issues, troubles have a similar core, you can't help everyone that has emotional or behavioral difficulties, because the core is that you're stuck. You might know that something would be good to do, but you're not doing it. You something is blocking you. Something doesn't feel right, so the feeling is stopping you. And sometimes you don't even understand why it's stopping you, but you are blocked basically, and you are afraid, maybe you are worried. There's some classical base issues, and then the symptom could be fear of flying, could be worry about the next career, could be, am I good enough? It could be, the symptoms could be varied, but the core is similar, or oftentimes even the same. So the roots are the same to our stuckness and our issues. So the short answer is yes.
Yeah, I probably can understand what you mean, because sometimes I feel this. I even can feel that some other action will be good for me in that particular moment and situation, but I just cannot go that way. It's just, yeah, even when I know that it's better choice, better like action right now, but it feels that something holds me back, or holds me on that old known path of behavior or thinking or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and there's new science now about feelings and how we work. I mean, the days of the classical psychology are changing. Freud is not your typical psychology father anymore, and his methods aren't necessarily the ones that people use any longer. And it's been measured that up to 90% human beings are run by their feelings. We think we decide up here. We think that we think a decision and make it. But by 90% of our choices are made from how it feels oh, that doesn't feel good, or no, I don't feel, that person doesn't make me feel good. This situation, this environment, we make a lot of our decisions based on this whole thing called our body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree. I'm wondering if your method actually helps people to overcome that emotional numbness. You know, some people, they have such intense feelings and emotions inside, maybe from some traumatic experience in the past. It's just difficult to tolerate them, just be with these emotions right here, right now, because it's so intense and kind of destroying. Can this method be helpful in this situation as well?
Absolutely. EFT, well, it didn't start with trauma, but EFT has been used for veterans, American veterans, a lot. So there are a lot of EFT practitioners, coaches, mentors that are helping traumatized veterans and traumatized, well, the veteran community has been one of the key areas for EFT. And these are people that couldn't be helped by the other psychology helping communities. They went to their doctor, they went to their psychologist, they went to the classical places where, you know, they get sent from the military commandments and medical institutions, and they didn't get help. But with EFT, there's studies on this, and if anyone is interested, they can contact me. But there are quite a few studies by now, about 60 some studies that show that EFT is very good for serious, difficult trauma. Mm. So it takes about 4 to 8 sessions for someone to shift out of something. It's a very, again, because it's a holistic method, you approach it from kind of the inside, the outside, you visualize, you see the future, you look back. And then even physically, the tapping reduces anxiety, stress hormones, up to 60%. So when you have a feeling, a trauma, even thinking about something, I had a man that was afraid of flying. He came in and, well, I've had several, but this one I'm thinking of now, he sat down and just telling me what he was afraid of and why he came to visit me, he started getting all anxious and he started getting all warm and all hot. Just the idea that we would handle this issue caused him anxiety. Mm-hmm. So when you tap, when you do basically the basic thing that EFT tapping does, which is like calming down the stress, you relax immediately, pretty much. It's remarkable how quickly this transition happens in spite of physical reactions to a feeling. And a recent study, well, actually it wasn't so recent, there's a study from Australia where tapping in a group can reduce stress up to 43%. So even if you do it with someone else, which is always a bit awkward, you don't know the person, some people, you know, it's like that in itself is a bit stressful. Yeah. You're going to show your feelings in front of other people and you're going to share things that are very personal to you. But even in that kind of a setting, the stress gets reduced by 43%. But I should say cortisol creation, cortisol levels were reduced by 43%. Yeah.
Wow. So can I say that this tapping actually helps to balance our nervous system and activate more our parasympathetic nervous system, which helps us to relax and come back to that calm state.
Say that, yeah. And you could say that that is the first thing that happens. So basically the tapping is the first method that you use so that the person can be more cognizant and more neutral when they then start talking about it. We do the other processes. They're in a better state to work with their issue.
So yeah, basically, sounds to me that this tapping is similar to antidepressants. So I mean, the fact that they create, as far as I know, that when person with depression takes antidepressant pills, this person can more effectively work with other like psychological counseling techniques, because just this person comes to that calm state at some degree at least. So it sounds to me this tapping works similar. It just helps you to come back to that safe state when you can think more logically and you can just be more focused on solving your issues and problems, and it will be more effective.
Yeah, and this is also where another of the reasons that we use comes into play, which is to visualize. And when you have an issue, the last thing you want to do is fantasize about something, because you have a real issue. You want to get rid of whatever it is that you're having.
Yeah.
But it turns out that visualization, dreaming, pretending creates a I've lost the word. There's a term that I can't think of now, where you can create healing. Placebo. There it is. You can create your own placebo effect. And not so long ago, it used to be kind of frowned at. Oh, that's a placebo. Oh, they imagined it. They got that healing from fantasizing.
Yeah.
No, we have this medication. We have this tablet, which is much better. We have an antidepressant. Use this. And those people, they just imagined the healing.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that this imagination is real. And it turns out there's many studies and tests been made that the placebo is oftentimes even better. I should do it here. The placebo is better than the tablet. So it has higher efficiency.
Yeah.
So you should imagine, you should visualize, you should dream, because it actually helps you heal.
And to be honest, I experienced both negative and positive effect of imagination in my personal life, because I can imagine something unpleasant or stressful, and of course my body reacts with just increased heart rate, and I can feel this increased anxiety in my body. But I also experienced this positive effect of imagination when I had my call it panic attack, when I went to main mining museum, to the underground tour in the tunnel. But I had no idea that I could freak out, that I could have that panic attack, and I actually had it there. Like, it was so intense, I was almost ready to cry, and I don't know, ask to stop the little train and whatever. I didn't care about other people anymore. Thanks God my husband was nearby. It was helpful. But what I did, I actually closed my eyes and started to imagine that open space at the skiing resort, because we were going skiing next day. So I was just imagining that I'm on an open space and skiing, and it was so helpful. It just decreased my anxiety and helped me to tolerate that time there, to survive that time and be okay. Yeah, so I agree that imagination is so powerful and we can use it for our advantage.
Yeah, And what you described is called nocebo, which is when you don't believe something good. So you imagine the bad thing, and then that creates a reality as well. That creates its own reality, its own downward spiral, whereas the placebo creates the upward spiral. So yeah, both are very real.
Wow. Yeah. I'm wondering if you can maybe share a few tips or, I don't know, techniques which people can use. It can help to reduce anxiety and tolerate this uncertainty and limitation, especially when people go, we talked about that, they go through different life transitions, they retire from professional career, and now there are so many choices to make, and we want to make good choices for us. So we need to be in that calm state so we can think and just understand what is better for us. So are there some, I don't know, maybe a few tapping things that people can use just to help them to come to that calm state?
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, it's a very quick effect. And I have, if someone wants something longer and they want to kind of follow along for a longer period, on my website, blissyjoy.com, there are several links where you can actually follow along for an extended period. But I have what I call a micro tapping technique, which is super simple. You can use it anywhere, anytime. And basically, you tap from the top of your head down the face. If you forget where you should tap, don't worry about it. And you breathe. And you actually, this is actually the key. You allow yourself the feeling. Because most people say, no, I don't want that. No, don't give me this feeling. I don't want this feeling to be happening now. So the key, and this is actually the difficult part, and why you sometimes need help with this method, in spite of it being so simple on the surface. The key is to observe and let yourself basically stay in it and see what happens. So you have to trust the method. So I'm telling you to trust something you haven't tried. But the super simple way is to tap, breathe, and feel. So something like, oh no, this feeling. Oh no, I'm feeling this feeling. Oh no, I'm feeling this feeling. Oh no. Oh, why is this feeling? Oh no, I'm still feeling it. Breathe and feel. I'm still feeling it. Because you told me it's going to go away. Oh, I'm still feeling it. Maybe something is feeling a little less. Maybe I'm feeling a little better. I'm still feeling it. I don't like this feeling. So you basically are self-talking that, yes, I am feeling this feeling. And this is the ACT therapy. You're accepting what's happening. Whereas most people, when they feel something uncomfortable, they want to stay away from it. But here, in order to really heal it, you accept it and you discover what it's saying, because the feeling is actually talking to you. So I'm feeling this feeling, oh, it's still there. But maybe it's not as bad. Maybe something is, it feels a bit easier now. But it's still there. I'm still upset. I'm still worried. I'm still anxious. So you just tap. And if you forget where it is, just like tap anywhere. Just keep on tapping. Keep on breathing. And self-talk. And admit that, oh no, why now? Why me? And you start noticing really quickly that it's shifting. Oh, a little better. Oh, but I'm not done. It's not gone all the way. I want this to get even, I want to get rid of it. Okay, but I'm still feeling it. Just keep breathing and tapping, and you'll notice the shift.
Yeah. So gradually this feeling becomes less intense, probably.
Mhm. Yeah. And you start understanding it. You
Mm-hmm.
start realizing why it came.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's like a feeling comes, it could be for all kinds of reasons. It wants you, bad feelings are trying to protect you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't go there, don't do that, don't be there, don't encounter that person, don't. It's a protective feeling. But in our society, it might show up in, it might show up unnecessarily. So today, this feeling comes up because it was triggered by something. And it actually is reacting to something that happened 10, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But the trigger activated it. So the feeling is remembering, seeing something similar, like a smell, a personality, a color, a sound, and it activates an old feeling.
Yeah.
So all you need to do is tap and start talking to it, basically. And
Yeah.
then you understand it, and then the cognitive part comes. You understand, oh, it was then. It's not actually happening now. Oh, yeah, maybe I could have done something different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a healing process. Um, it's not a plaster. It's not a temporary fix. EFT tapping is actually for deep transformations to get rid and shift something completely. I've been called a heroine. I've been called someone's, people's lifesaver. I've been called, people are thanking me for being in their lives, just because it's such a simple and actually soothing transformation in the middle of pain and discomfort.
Can people work with a practitioner online, or is it only in-person method?
Well, you can work online, and we just had, I started this Swedish EFT society about 10 years ago. And we had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and we had a tapping session in a group. And after that tapping session, this woman, and we've recorded it. So after the session, the recording went out, and a couple of days later, I get an email, and this woman said, "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. This thing that I've been carrying for all these years shifted. This trauma I've been having and not being able to handle. I shifted out of it from the recording. So thank you, thank you, thank you." So you don't even need to be there in person. And that's why I'm saying that if someone wants to test this, like as a longer, more deeper session, I have these recordings on my website, so blissyjoy.com, and you can actually get a transformation from a recording.
Yeah, yeah. And all links will be in the description, so you can just go and click on that links and try this wonderful method. I will definitely do that. I think it will be helpful to me to deal with some of my stuff. Wonderful.
Everyone should have this, because you can use it on the bus. And if you use it on the bus, if you need to use it on the bus, like something's happening or you remembered something, or you can actually use your fingers as well. There are finger points. So you don't have to sit and tap all over your face on the bus. There are more discreet hand points that you can use. And there are different hand points. So you can do that as well.
Oh, wow. It's wonderful. Yeah, because sometimes we're in the situation when we cannot, do something weird. It will create more stress, something weird for how people can perceive us. Yeah. So Thank you for sharing this little trick people can use. And I also know that you're working on your second book, actually.
Mm.
Can you share just maybe briefly a few words about your book and when it will be released?
Well, in the same way that I found EFT because of some sort of internal feelings and needs, I have the last 5 to 8 years, I've been getting more spiritual connections. So on that journey, I have been called to speak about love, the power of love. So love is a power. I've experienced it actually in tapping sessions. I've like connected to this thing, and I have felt the power. I felt the strength. It's a force. It's amazing. It's this fabulous force that we need to use more of. And of course, this force isn't aggressive, but it's powerful. It can move mountains. And so that is what the book is about. So it will be transformation with tapping and love power. This book should be out maybe at the end of the summer, in the fall.
Oh, okay.
So, and I'm running summits. I just finished a summit called The Science and Magic of Love Power. And now I will be running a summit in April called let's see, what's the call? It's been like shifting the name. Loving Profits with Love Power. I think that was the last title. So Loving Profits, so again, heart-centered way of making money, and using the love power, using goodness, helping people, and this new way of being in the world, basically.
Yeah.
And self-love is of course part of this. Self-love and loving others, and the mutual exchange that can come from this.
I was actually going to say that this tapping, for me, sounds like a form of self-love.
Yes.
So it's something, giving myself some love and being with myself, not just leaving myself alone.
Very nice. Yes, that's a nice inspiration. Exactly. You take care of yourself. I usually say that you should do as the SAS airline, Swedish airlines. Well, all airlines say the same thing. You should help yourself with the oxygen mask before you help others. So you need self-love, you need to self-care. And then when, not in a narcissistic way, obviously, but when you self-care, then you can spread all of this to others. You have more energy and more to give.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing. It was wonderful to talk to you today. And I guess people can also find all this information about your great summits on your website, probably, or we will leave some links below the video so you can go and check it there. Yeah, I learned a lot. I will check your video, do some tapping on myself to help me to deal with everything challenging that happens in my life. And I hope to talk to you soon at some point. Thank you so much for being here today and for your time.
Thank you, Elena, for inviting me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for watching, for listening. Hope you enjoyed it very much as I did. And as usual, give like to this video, subscribe to my channel, share this video with your friends, and try this form of self-love, which includes tapping and just tolerating your intense emotions and finding some solutions to old or new situations. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.